intimidating. It's more inviting than it is intimidating, right? And so I think the idea of having that in your series, because everything else is so simple, which I love, really pulls it all together, right, Michelle? And the other thing is, which was, again, you talked about the challenge for you was to get you to kind of, I mean, so again, think about all the organizations, there's organizations, a lot of them who actually advocate for nutrition, right, and malnutrition and, and feeding, especially in third world countries, right? We see a lot of that. And to me, and this is so easy to do, the look and feel of all of those are pretty much the same. What they say is pretty much the same, just a little bit different. The way it looks is pretty much the same. So being able to take the organization that's been around for a long time called CARE and rethink and reimagine
for a younger audience too.
For for the contemporary context, to me, this will totally stand out from anything else that's being done out there. But also connecting to a younger audience as well, right? So because the idea is like, that's my father or grandfather's generation. You know what I mean? Right? We've seen that, we've heard that. Because at some point it kind of goes in one ear and comes out the other, right? It's like I'm sick of hearing that, right? But the way you put it in visual form as well as the typographic form in your content is so powerful in itself. So to me, I think that's what's engaging about it, right?
Yeah.
And again, having that one photograph like that.
So when I did this, I had to mention this before because when I did just a few layers, it felt like it's just a photograph with different visuals.
Yeah.
But I suggest like with the idea of color, because this originally had color before we did black and white. And I noticed like because I'm aiming for a younger audience, it has to go around what they know or how they feel. Like they want to be heard and acknowledged. Right. And that's also one of the moves that I decided to do on the zine, to actually have a question. Yeah. So you start off with a question, you end up with a question.
Yeah,
that type of
move. And Michelle, I think one of the things that, and a challenge for you going forward in some of your classes, right? It's like, again, for you, there was a challenge for you to step outside of the box typographically, but also step out the box as far as how to communicate an idea without being cliche. Right, and again, right. So as you go into your next, series of type classes, and you can do this over the break as well, is really getting more comfortable and playing around with, typographic choices, right? That are not necessarily traditional all the time. And I think this idea of this type choice. Versus the sans serif that you're using up there. Yeah. I think that condensed, really thin stroke typeface versus that, I think the contrast between those actually worked really well. And the fact that you only used that one typeface for your poster series, I think was a brilliant idea.
Yeah. This was
really, really well.
I got this typeface from the folders you sent us.
Oh yeah.
So I remembered one of the.
You didn't hear that?
No.
Oh, you're going to take class next week. So
That's true. She's already booked.
Yeah. And then also, Michelle, the simplicity and the power of it. That's what makes this so good, is the fact that it's really simple and it's very, very powerful. But it's not like, I don't want to look at that. I get too much of hearing about,
food,
starving
hunger,
kids and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that, and I love the fact that in your zine, that with your image choices, your visual language. I mean, again, like I said with everybody, you guys could go back and really look at the way you prototyped your imagery, right? So I think there's a really good combination between the content and the use of the imagery in your zine. I mean, you struggle a little bit with some of your vector elements.
No, I'm not good.
But ultimately, I think your content, justice begins at the table. The path to peace is paved by bread, replenishing humanity. Food is the foundation of freedom. All right, so those are still a little bit cliche, but I think the way you're using them and the way you're using them with those visual elements, I think works really well. That's what makes it somewhat unique. You know what I mean? So I love that part. All right, what do you guys think? Comments? Anybody, somebody?
I'm glad that I used AI. No, I'm not glad to use AI, but I got to learn how to like write a proper prompt.
Yeah.
The cover is actually AI generated.
Oh, yeah, cool. Anybody? Javinus, what do you think?
I'm trying not to talk too much, but okay. I feel like these big type here are pretty powerful. That it kind of goes into your face, like when you see these. And then.
You were saying that, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's okay if it's a bad thing.
Huh?
It's a good thing.
Okay.
Oh.
It's engaging.
Yes. Because you can tell some of these traditional organizations, they kind of, they're kind of like more image relying, like we said earlier. Like, but it's like when you do it like type-based more, it's kind of something new.
Yeah, absolutely. Justina, what do you think?
I think the whole ideology was really strong, and I really like how you put in your spread to have a leading question, like have you been keeping it all yourself? I really think that the leading question is really important.
Yeah, really good idea. Yeah, good point.
I also really appreciate that even though you're talking about nurturing, you're talking about food, kids, you're not showing like food all the time. You're keeping the audience having some breathing room, and I really like the solid kind of green. You didn't choose like really kind of often seen like for example red, orange to represent food. You're using green, and also I really like the type choices you have on your poster and your spreads. And the poster is really successful. You have really straightforward and simple information to tell. And I really like the clocking. It's really subtle, but really strong.
Hi.
Yeah, speaking of the green, so yeah, Michelle, remember the green you had before?
Yes.
How muddy it was?
Yeah.
Right. And
The
so,
olive
I
green.
mean, obviously, green is a symbol of growth, right? Especially when you talk about food. I mean, food comes from plants and shit that we grow, right? In the ground, or it also comes from animals. But the idea of using in green, what you had before, I think was really pulling down the narrative. And I think once you bump that green up to a much brighter green, it offers a sense of hope, which I think is really, really important for this, right? But the way you use it, I think, is also done really, really well. Okay.
I'm glad we changed the green.
All right, nicely done, right? Tracy Shiflin.
2 cents.
In what room?
Type 5.
510? Okay, I'll do that.
Thank
you. Nicely done, Michelle.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't look at your that's how you said you didn't do that.
Yeah.
How many of the mock-ups did you do?
Do.
Let me see.
Because I have
Let's see
4.
those.
I think I
Let's see the
did.
mock-ups, you guys.
So I might show them in the presentation instead. Where's the presentation? There you go. And we have here. So, do you need it bigger, right?
Yeah.
Oh no. I'll just use the photo then. Sorry, give me 1 second. There you go.
Yeah. So did you condense this image?
No, I think the size of the mock-up that I used is condensing it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So again, going back to stop, right? So to me, again, if I'm seeing that getting off a bus and I'm walking by, that